Welcome to the latest edition of We. The Thunder. I am your host, Rob Rashute, also known as Shooter, Shooty Shoots, several different names in the tri-state area here. Wait, we're only in one state.
Tri-county. Tri-county area.
Tri-county. Tampa Bay area. Let's go with that.
Bay area.
We've got
Pasco. He's known as the plug.
We've got. How dare you? Starting off Rocky. I also have with me the Stash, and if you look very closely at his Pat Maroon-like beard, you will see some whiskers as the Stash forms from that beard. And we also have Thomas Schooley. There's only one person that calls him the Professor, and that's me. Tonight, we have a very, very exciting show. We've got some games. We've got some guests. We've got a pretty solid week of hockey to talk about since we've last joined here after that overtime loss. And it's going to be good. And it's going to go by in a jiffy, okay? In a jiffy. So do yourself a favor. Actually, do us a favor for a second. Go hit the like button wherever you're watching. Go hit the share button wherever you're watching.
Share,
I'm not greedy. Just do one or the other. Just do one or the other. If you do both, you get bonus points. My daughter sells Girl Scout cookies. I get you first in line.
Oh,
it's almost Girl Scout cookie season. All right, I want to play a game. So let's just go around the horn. I'll let you guys speak a little bit.
Play a game.
And I do want to play this game because let me just pump up the crowd before you guys leave. Let me just pump up the crowd a little bit. We're going to be designing our own Stadium Series sweaters in this game. That's right. We've got the capabilities here to put together what we want to see on those Stadium Series jerseys up in Tennessee, in Nashville, Tennessee, in just a couple months.
We have the technology.
So, guys, I think the biggest news since we last met was we got a couple wins under our belt, and we're now on a 8-game point streak. What do you have to say about that?
How
you like
that? I say I saw it coming. That's what I got to say about that. And what a glorious win last night in the culmination of that 8-game point streak in the last few games since we had a show last week. Because man, what a game last night, right? Come on, I'm still jazzed. I woke up first thing I said this morning. Man, what a game! That's the first thing I said this morning. It's amazing.
And I say that they look like they're having fun again.
Yeah.
They look like the Stanley Cup back-to-back hangover is officially over and that they're back to having fun. And you can see it. I know I tweeted some pictures out of Matty Joe in warm-ups. They're having fun in warm-ups again. You guys don't get there usually early enough for some warm-ups. But
no chance.
They are doing some. If anybody gets a chance to be there during warm-ups, it's fun to watch. You have Maroon chases Hetty around the ice in like a figure 8. You have Foot when Kachuk does a little stretch.
Sketch up, sir.
Yeah, Foot shoots a puck underneath him, and every time. And then you have Matty Joe and Colton doing this little handshake that they do. It's just fun back for them. They look to be having a lot of fun out there now, and it's going for wins.
Absolutely. And we're getting in the groove. I'm seeing guys like Matty Joe start to take that shot and score like we saw last night. So we are going to do a little mini breakdown of the Panthers win, or the Lightning win, I should say, over the Panthers and over the Islanders last night. But guys, I want to jump to it. And the reason why is because we've got Kailey Mizelle joining the show at 9:00. And this game might take a solid 45 minutes. So let's start to play this game so we can talk to Kailey when she jumps on. But yes, this is our second star from Bally Sports that is joining the podcast. The first was Dave Randorf. Now we got Kailey joining. So if you guys have questions for Kailey, hold those in the chat so you can ask those when she jumps on. But she's going to be on in about 20 minutes. And now we will debut our Stadium Series sweater maker game. If you guys, if the people watching, and by the way, this is where I apologize to the people that just listen to the podcast, because this episode's going to suck for you.
Parts of this that you could just skip a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Never
But
not on our show, but
no, just go to Facebook or YouTube, shoot her in the stash, and just find the recording and just go watch the recording.
Yeah.
But let's share. I'm still not 100% sure how this is going to go. This is a lot of moving pieces here. But let's go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here. And let me try to put this together for you guys. We have several different components of Tampa Bay Lightning jerseys throughout pretty much their history and existence here. Your task will be to assemble a jersey that you would like to see. Now, I do have the black jersey plain, the blue jerseys plain. Let's keep in mind the Stadium Series sweater is probably going to be white, but I'm going to let you guys have a little bit of leeway with this and create whatever you'd like to see, because you never know. Nashville could, I think it's against NHL rules. That's why I don't think it's going to happen. But Nashville could do their yellows, and we could wear black or blue if they wore yellow, if the NHL would allow it. I think we'd have to get an exception for that. Do you want me to go first to kind of show you how this is maybe going to work?
Yes, please, wise one.
Okay. Well, the first thing that happens is we pop up the shooter edition here, so everyone knows that this is my jersey. And then what we do is we pick our components on what we want. So for example here, I'm going to go with a bold move here, Cotton. I'm going to go with the reverse retro as my base jersey. But there's a twist. And that twist is my reverse retro here is going to actually be reverse retro. Bam. It's going to be, oh man, I got to get all my pieces here. It's going to be the white overlay.
So you're
because
already.
We are going to be the away team here with the white sweaters.
So you're already using your advantage of setting this game up and pulling something that wasn't even on the board.
I know. That's what
it's like boom, haha, fools!
No.
How dare you not think of this?
No, this is why I wanted to go first, because now you guys know that you can use this base jersey as well. So now that I've got this, what I'm going to do here for my Stadium Series sweater is I'm going to go with the, where is it? That's right. I'm going with that logo. Actually, I should do this. I should do a little copy of that logo and then move it over and then pop that baby on top, because I've seen a lot of teams do that. We might need to do a little resize here. I've seen a lot of teams do this where they take that secondary logo and use that on the crest, and we've never seen the Lightning do that. So I'm pulling that baby in here, and I'm not going to mess with what we know works for the Lightning, right? Everybody loved those Stadium Series jerseys. I'm not going to mess with the
You mean retro?
And reverse retro.
Well, yeah, reverse retro. Sorry, that I'm not going to mess with the lines here, the stripes. If you want to, we've got those here. I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I think this is what the reverse or the Stadium Series jersey is going to look like.
Well,
are you with me?
No.
Is the chat with me? Is anybody?
I would say the same thing, except for I would do the bolts written down.
Well, hold on. We're going to document this. This is the shooter edition. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the schoolie edition. And, you know, the first step of this game, we've got to change it to the schoolie edition, which is not centered, which drives me bananas. And then what we're going to do is we will get rid of that. You're going bolts?
Yeah.
We'll go bolts right on top of that white. See, right away, this isn't going to work because you got white on white.
Well, make them blue.
It's not that kind of show.
Oh,
Actually, I
that's what it would
can.
be. Blue
I
bolts.
can make them blue for you, Thomas
No,
Scully.
no blue bolts on the show.
So it's not going to look perfect, but it's not going to look good at all, actually. But I got what you're saying. You're saying there's going to be a blue bolts right across. Any changes to like the lines or anything? Are you sticking with that true like reverse retro sweater?
I don't like the black. I don't think the black's gonna stay.
You're taking the black.
Blue.
You're taking the black out. All right.
Yeah.
I think we can do that here. I think we can do that. See, I don't have all my buttons and my tools when I have this full screen. So what we'll do is, I can't even change the color.
Oh, see, this game sucks already. It's rigged. It was just
on.
good for shooter. That was it.
Just hyping his own shit.
Yeah.
This is all.
Mine was pretty good. I don't know what this
debut
is.
his version, and no matter what, this is going to be the one that gets put all over Facebook and Twitter because he's the one that does all the posts. It's going to be shooters one at the top, and then ours is going to be at the bottom, all small and shit. We all shooters.
Couldn't change my bolts to blue, and
right?
Yeah.
Can't even give you the blue bolts that you deserve.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't exist. What's all right,
You said.
Stash? What are you thinking here? What are you thinking?
Guess what? Your jersey doesn't exist either.
It's
True.
It's going to.
I'm thinking it's gonna be closer to the traditional white.
Whoa. All right, so I need
regular
to
white sweater.
I need to take the white sweater over here.
Yep.
There it is. Hold on. The first thing we got to do is we got to label this. We don't want people to get confused with what the bad jerseys are and the good jersey.
Like, right, because yours is going to be the biggest one on the top, and then ours is going to be the two smaller pictures underneath it. We already established this.
Well,
right?
the best one goes on top.
Well, right. So I think there's going to be some. I think they're definitely going to break up that blue with some white stripes. I know not everyone likes it, but I do. I like it right here, as you can see. I love this. This is actually, I'm wearing this tonight because this is going to be one of the hoodies I take with me to Nashville to the Stadium Series.
Wait, are you saying like this? They're gonna break up the blue?
Yeah.
So you got something like this going on here?
On all three of the blue stripes.
Well, this is really screwing me up not having all my controls here, but I catch you. You're breaking up. Now this is looking very Toronto Maple Leaf.
He had all his tools for his.
Right.
I mean, ready to go.
Well, that's what happens when you boys don't know how to use computers. Here we go. See, this does look a little too Toronto Maple.
See, I think it's going to have the blue shoulders that the reverse retro has.
Oh, you're going full blue shoulders too.
Yeah.
What's the chat like right now? Are they going nuts over this incredible?
Literally, they couldn't be more disinterested in what's going on right now.
Except for Kim, she's like, "How do we play?
How do we play?"
You put what you think in the comments.
Well, next episode we might just dedicate to people coming on, and we will just make reverse retro jerseys.
We could just do a special reverse retro or Stadium Series jersey episode.
I did ask somebody that works at the team store yesterday, and they have not been told when it's getting released yet.
Well, I am pretty sure that the jersey that I designed is coming out December 15th, just in time for the holidays. But let's just take a look here. This is going to not look exactly like you want it to, but it's going to be pretty darn close, I think.
But see, then they would have to flip-flop the collar to white.
Well, now you're asking for way too much.
Exactly.
This isn't that kind of.
So I mean, even the blue collar would look okay, but then I think it's going to still be the.
Looks like
the blue lightning bolt.
Looks like a cape.
Yeah, they're fucking superheroes, bro. Did you see that game last night?
All right, let's get
bro.
Let's get that blue on there.
Yeah.
Hey, I like that. Right now, he'd have to agree with me. See,
that's it.
There we go.
That's the one right there. It's got to be a little smaller. And then, just so you guys know, all the Stadium Series jerseys. I didn't put numbers because they all have big numbers on the shoulders so we can all
Yeah.
see them.
So I think there's going to be plenty of room in my design for that big number on the shoulder.
Totally. Well, for all of these, there will be.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's not bad. I mean,
like I still think it's probably going to have like a white or a black collar. It won't have a blue collar. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think the black collar would probably really look good there. So,
all right, let's fix schoolies real quick. You guys can talk about the
This is
game
fine.
while I fix this. Do you want to talk about the
this is fine.
let's talk about the game. Want to talk about hockey?
Oh, you want to talk about that freaking full-on Donnybrook that we witnessed last night that ended up another ass whooping of the New York, careful what you would ask for, Islanders?
Yeah, that was
game.
I'll tell you what, that heady giveaway to, and we've seen it a little bit too much this season.
Yeah.
But stupid people still on Twitter and on Facebook saying, "Oh, bench him, trade him." He's. Do I think maybe something's wrong with him? Possibly. I don't know if he's fully recovered yet, or if he's just still not up to himself after the surgery. But he gave up that breakaway to Barzell, and he took it to the house.
Yeah, that's the one guy you probably don't want to give up that breakaway to.
I know exactly what it is, so I'm not going to repeat myself. We already talked about a pre-show. Ever since I said Pat Maroon needs to grow his beard back, he did, and guess what? He's
his hair. That's right.
He's out there leading the way with that fourth line, and Hetty just needs to grow his damn hair back, man. Just simple as that. I'm done.
It got physical last night, and it seems like we're really winning those physical battles.
Yeah, finally. Like you were saying, not only are they having fun, it's like they're kind of getting back to that realization that it's not. It's got to be gritty the whole season. It's going to be a grind, and it's going to be longer than ever. You know, kind of after the last 2 seasons, it's going to be long. But it's every game is the same. The couple guys talked about it last night. McDonough, he was talking about predictable hockey and just doing the same thing and being disciplined. And that's what you're seeing. And the result of the Lightning playing disciplined hockey is that their talent in the end wins out. And that's what happened last night. It was 2 teams that were both physical and gritty, but in the end, the patient team with the talent is the team that ended up winning and really ended up in the long run pretty much dominating that game, even with Sorelli only playing 9:47, which is pretty much the most awesome 9:47 you're ever going to see in a hockey game. But yeah, that was just to me, it looked like a clinic of what playoff hockey is. And you know what? If that's what it's going to take for them to win in the regular season, then just flip the switch and play it now. You know.
And defensively, I think McDonough is playing lights out and probably the best defensive guy out there on the team. And I know after last season, we said that he really should have been in the talk for the Norris. And to me, he's the front runner for the Lightnings. You know, everybody always has their eyes on Hetty, but McDonough has been laid out. And then you think about, you have the one person that you do have out right now is Chernak. And when he comes back, who do you sit? I mean, I like Bogosian's play.
Was awesome last night, right away.
Do we sit Ruda? I really like Bogosian. I like him on this team. And it's sad that he seems to be the guy that keeps getting rotated out. Do you put Foot out? You know, Foot's minutes has been low. Do you sit him?
Yeah, I mean, and go ahead.
You mentioned we call him Rutu Thomas on this
right.
show. It's okay.
Hey, man.
So get that. You got to get your names down, right? But I'm waiting for the chat to just blow up, and I already see one. There it is. That's going to be probably the fan favorite to come off of that blue line. But hey,
it's crazy because after the game or coming into the game last night, Brian Engblom highlighted 2 guys going into the game. One of them was Sorelli and the other one was Ruda, and how well he's been playing and how well he teams up with Hedman and how consistent he is and how solid he is. So I love our fans and I love everyone here, but I'm definitely siding with Brian Ingblom on this one, and I think Rutu is a very valuable piece as far as the depth goes in the Lightning's blue line, and I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he is going to be a fixture.
Well, that's the thing. I think he's
he's a
on
fixture.
Hetty's line, and
Yeah.
he gets lost a lot. So
Yep.
you don't see when he does the good play, but you definitely see when he messes
When
up.
he messes up. Well, just like Hetty.
Because
they're
you're
both on
looking
in and
at
out.
Hetty most of the time.
Yep. So
All right, I have to pause you
think,
guys.
I think Bogo is a guy that's invaluable in the way as steady as he is too, and what I want again get back to talking about as the personal aficionado of style and swag on this show. I noticed that Sergey came back minus the flow, and I think that's a good move for him. I think he needed to cut the flow
What?
because listen, it's because it gave him too much swag. He thought he had more power than he has yet. Like he still has to learn to control his power. He's still too young. So he doesn't have
He's not full Russia Mafia.
Too much flow.
He's training.
Exactly. You know what I mean? He still hasn't quite earned it yet. So
Listen, now I'm kind of worried. Maybe these guys have been using Patty Maroon's Letty dressing, and now they're all cutting their hair. They're like, this stuff's messing up my hair. And now I've been using the Letty dressing. Maybe I'm going to be next to cut my hair. But I got to pause you guys while we're talking about the game. We got to bring on someone whose opinion I really actually value. Not that I don't value your opinions, but I do sit here and have to listen to them once a week. We've got a star in the green room right now. Bally Sports reporter and host, Kailey Mizelle. You've seen her. Covering the Bolts, covering the Rays. You recognize that face. Kailey, what's going on? Welcome to We the Thunder.
Hey guys, I'm happy to be here. Thanks so much for having me on. And I've been listening to some of the conversation. I like it. I like some of the debates and figuring out what the defense is looking like, and that pick of McDonough and seeing him and how stout he's been. I like it all.
Yeah, and just so you know, and you probably heard, the stash is the style aficionado on the team. So always looking at the players, pregame and postgame attire and hairdos. Thomas Schooley is usually at the stadium. We usually do a postgame show, but Thomas Schooley pretty much kind of lives on the plaza. You might see him when you're at and leaving games
once or twice.
And it looks like I'm at the stadium, but I really actually never leave my house. I just watch Lightning hockey, and that's pretty much it. So welcome to the show. We're really happy to have you. Bally Sports, we all love it. Some great broadcasts so far this year. For the last couple of years, they've all been great, right? The only bad part is for the last 2 years, you've had to hand it over to NBC Sports to ruin things. But that's how we have our some of our cool nicknames, like Jan Rutu, who they would not stop calling Rutu during the playoffs last year. So, we picked it up. And just so you know, Ketchup is Kachuk, and you'll probably catch on to some of these silly names that we have for the players. But
hockey and nicknames go hand in hand, so I really like it.
Exactly. So here's what I've been wondering: How did you get started? How did you get this cool gig with Bally Sports? It looks like you're like a Florida girl. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you went to the University of Florida, so you're kind of in your element here.
Big Gator fan, although we won't talk about this season.
No,
I always get my hopes up, but Gator fandom aside, I grew up just down the road in Winter Haven, Florida. So about an hour away from Tampa, right in between Tampa and Orlando. And I grew up with brothers, always enjoyed sports. And it actually was later that I got into hockey. I grew up on the baseball diamond, hanging out there, but always enjoyed sports broadcasting. I remember my first professional gig broadcasting was when I was 13. I announced my little brother's walk up, every person in the lineup coming up, and they paid me in a hot dog and a Coke. So there you go. That was my start into broadcasting.
That's what I get paid to be on this show.
Oh yeah, hot dog and a
Whoa,
Coke. You're
who's
just a
paying
fan
you?
eater,
Who's
right,
paying you?
Rob? Like,
That's
Diet
awesome.
Coke.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. When I was 13, it was just give me that Coke, give me a hot dog. But yeah, I went to school at the University of Florida, had a great time there, and really wanted to go into sports. And then since then, have moved all over. Pursuing sports reporting is not an easy gig. So I have lived in East Texas, West Texas, Alabama, which is where I met my husband. We've lived in Kentucky, Ohio, and Florida. I think I named almost everything. Oh, I think Michigan is in there as well. But started getting into hockey, and this job opened up, and I knew I wanted to come back to Florida because it's where I'm from, and I love the Rays and I love the Lightning. I was here not working in sports in hockey at the time, but I was here for the 2015 Cup run and was like, oh my gosh, I have to get back to Tampa one day. Like, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to earn my stripes. And then I'm going to come back to Tampa and I'm going to cover the Lightning and they're going to win this time. And in my first year, they won. And then in my second year, they won. So I'm just saying, I have a pretty good track record because as soon as I started, they started winning.
Well, you were meant to be on the show because we started the show back up right 2 seasons ago, right during COVID. And when we started back up, they won the cup. And since we've been doing it, they're undefeated in the postseason. So
there you go.
Welcome. You fit right in with the show of champions here. So that's perfect.
I love it. I love it. I tease because I have a little boy. He's 6 months old, and he has not known a single day of his life where the Lightning have not been Stanley Cup champions.
Awesome.
So I'm like, okay, well, we're starting your life off pretty good here.
When you started with Bally Sports and they, you're doing dual shit with the Rays and the Lightning, and when they announced you, I was like, where have I heard this name before? And then you just hit it and it clicked where WKYT in Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh yeah.
I lived in Lexington for a short period of time. So I was like, when you said Kentucky, I was like, she was in Lexington. That's how I knew the name. So, but yeah, we're glad you're part of the Bally Sports family. You obviously got here right as it changed to Bally Sports before it was Fox Sports, son.
Yeah. I did one season with Fox Sports, and then this past April 2021, right, switched over. Yeah.
So how are you liking covering the Rays and the Bolts? Well, mostly the Bolts. We'll talk about the Rays another time. Of course, Kevin Cash gets.
That's our other show that we kind of do sometimes.
Hey, Kevin Cash gets AL Manager of the Year, and then Randy gets the Rookie of the Year.
Raking in the Rookie of the Year award. That's right.
Show off my Randy Rosarena bobblehead, right?
There you go.
He's gonna have more of these awards coming.
I like it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I like I said, this was a dream job. I wanted to come back to Florida and I wanted to work, at Fox Sports, is what I always aspired to work for. So when I got the call to say that, hey, Kailey, you got the job, it was like, okay, when do you need me there? When am I starting? When is this all happening? Let's do it. And since then, it's just been an exciting few years of a lot of fun, some weirdness with COVID, but a lot of championships. And it's been a great time to be in Tampa Bay. I will say that for sure.
So was Tampa like the specific place you wanted to come back to in Florida, or was like Orlando on the market? Was this?
No, it was Tampa. I mean, we would have accepted. Yeah, we would have been, happy in other places, but it was like, my husband and I, it was like always, let's go to Tampa. Let's be in Tampa. That's what we wanted. Wanted to cover the Lightning, wanted to cover the Rays. And here we are doing exactly that.
Awesome. It's always amazing to see women in this business because this is a male dominated sport. And then over the last couple of years, you've had finally the breakouts of females becoming the reporters, women fans. I think they outnumber the men on season ticket members with the Lightning. I know I run a Facebook group for Lightning fans, and the females outnumber the men in that group. So what's it like with you now being in this sport? I mean, we've had, Kailey Mizelle with us. Who was before her? I can't remember. We've had some famous women here, some great female reporters. What's it like being on Bally with all these guys, and now you're the face people know?
Before you answer, Schoolie was thinking of Erin Andrews, I think.
No,
yeah.
well, Erin
She
Andrews is
started down
famous
there.
from here. Her dad is, of course, a legend here in Tampa on Channel 8 News. But no, I can't think of her name. She does New York now. She was doing the Rangers for a little bit, but I can't think of her name. But anyway, what's it like being Michelle Gringas? We had her. What's it like being down here and being in the sports world here in Tampa?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the fans here are great. They're passionate fans. I think that something that we all bond over together as a fan base is that people think that like, oh, hockey's not for Florida, hockey's not for Tampa. And it's like, oh, let's prove you wrong. Like, did you see what the boat parade looked like the first time in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of all this stuff going on? Did you see how many people came out to celebrate their Stanley Cup champion hockey team? There was a lot of people. I was on the boat with Alex Killorn and Anthony Cirelli, and I was looking at all of the people who were out there. There was a ton of people. So I think it's something that Florida fans, like fans who are from the Florida area, specifically from the Tampa area, we can bond together because people like to hate us, and we're like, okay, bring on the hate. Like, let's do it. Like, let's see what you got, and we'll take it on our backs, right? And then we'll like come at you and we'll win the Stanley Cup and like see what you think about that. So I think that's something that I really, really like about fans here in Tampa is they're so passionate. They love their team and they get counted out just like some of the teams get counted out here in the Tampa Bay region. And I think that we feed off of that. I think that like as a team, as a fan base, we all feed off of it. We love the fact that we're counted out because it's just like fuel to the fire. Let's prove them wrong. Let's prove them wrong that this isn't a hockey town. Let's prove them wrong that, baseball can't be played in Tampa. Let's prove them wrong that, the Bucks and Tom Brady, as old as he is, can't win a championship. Like, it's so fun to prove the outside world wrong and then be like, see what you think?
Yeah. And you're totally right. We really are, because I work with people all over the country and world. And when I say I'm from Tampa, and it's been a lot that I mentioned that in the last 2 years, maybe even throw on the hat.
Name drop.
They're jealous. They're so jealous.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was just up in New York a few weeks ago and talking to some family and friends up there, and they were like, "Oh, we like hate the Rays. Like, you guys are so like we have one guy on our payroll who is like the entire payroll of the Tampa Bay Rays, and we still can't beat you." And I'm like, "I know, we're that good. I know."
That's how we build them down here. So I was just curious. You were talking about how you kind of been all over. What's it like coming to this team and this production and getting on Bally versus some of the other productions you worked for? And especially with we just saw Rick Peckham going to the Hall of Fame. Got Brian Ingblom. Randorf was on our show last season, at the end of the season. I mean, he's no guy to shake a stick out coming from where he comes from. It just goes on and on, the people on this broadcast and the legends that are there. What's your interaction with them, and what's it like for you coming into this situation, and what do you take from it, and how do you approach it every day, just being around those kind of legends in the industry?
I mean, first of all, they're incredibly kind people. I mean, I'm sure if you've had them on, yourself, Dave Randorf, Brian Ingblom, Bobby the Chief Taylor, Paul Kennedy, Dave Anderchuk, Adam Hall, Rick Peckham. They are world-class people. They are some of the kindest, most welcoming people I've ever experienced. And that was what it was like for me. When I came in, they were like, "Hey, Kailey, what's your nickname? What are we going to call you?" We've got it was fun, joking. The guys are great.
So what's the nickname?
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know if we ever landed on anything, you guys. Common nicknames are hard.
Yeah.
And so Mizelle is my maiden name. And so it's like, I guess it could be like Zelly, right? Like that's like a
Mhm.
hockey name.
Yeah.
Nobody calls me that, but if you guys want to start, I won't mind. I'll be
Done.
Zelly, right? But no, they're so welcoming. They're so kind. So my experiences have been just incredibly, I think I'm incredibly blessed to be able to like work with the guys that I'm able to work with. They're incredibly smart. They know what they're talking about. If I ever have a question, I just like lean over to Brian or call Brian Ingblom. I'm like, hey, what is this? What did Coop mean when he said this thing? Or why did they do this thing in practice? And they always have an answer. They're so smart. They're so knowledgeable. And you have to have those pinch me moments. You're like, how many rings are in this room? When it's like Bobby the Chief Taylor and Dave Andrechuk and Brian Ingblom, and we're all sitting in the same room. It's like, how many rings are in this room right now? There are so many champions and so many incredible players who have come back and broadcast for the Rays, or excuse me, for the Lightning, and it's so incredible to see and to like be a part of such a world-class organization like the Lightning and like Bally Run. It's only been such an incredible experience for me so far.
Yeah.
So, but be honest, the first time you were in that press box and you were next to Michigan's booth over there and you hear him scream, score, you thought there was like a stroke or something going on over there, didn't you?
they soundproof the rooms pretty well. But it is funny, like when you get caught on the elevator writing up with Phil and Chief, and they like share their stories of like old, and you're like, oh, you're just like a fly on the wall, like listening, like, oh my gosh, this is like two of like the greatest people shared their stories. They've been around hockey and around the sport and around the Lightning for a long, long time. So to like hear them like share stories, you're just like, this is incredible, man. And then
Hall of Fame elevator ride.
I know, right? But then at the same time, like we're around the players, right? Like the players that we're around right now, these are players that are going to be the players that are going to go down in the Hall of Fame. I mean, like you're talking about, I have a Nikita Kucherov signed jersey on my wall. Like, give me a break. Like, these are the players. I talk to Andre Vasilevsky quite frequently. Like these are the players who our kids and our grandkids are going to like look up to and be like, oh my gosh, you got to talk to Nikita Kucherov? What? And it's like, yeah, I did. I got to talk to Victor Hedman. I got to talk to Steven Stamkos. They're all great guys. They're great people. So it's really cool to kind of mix the talent of like past and present together in the room that you have in the Tampa Bay Lightning. It really, really is just an incredible experience.
Well, so far, I think it's pretty clear as to why they brought you into the organization, because you're clearly a fan, and it's not just about a job for you. It's about a passion and being part of the family. And that's kind of like why we do this show, is because it's about the fans and how much they are part of the community. And like you were saying before, like baseball and football, there's transplants. We're a transplant community. And a lot of time people bring those allegiances here. And there's something about the Lightning that has kind of given a lot of us that thing to hold on to, that's not football, that's not hockey or baseball. It's okay to almost jump and be a Lightning fan if you're from somewhere else where not so much baseball or football, and the way it's grown has been organic. And so to have a person like you that grew up here as a fan, left, was in the industry, cut your teeth elsewhere, and then came back here to be a fan and to be part of the broadcasting family, like it makes sense to me. So it's really great to have you be part of it.
And that's a good point there, Stash, because fans can tell when someone's faking it until they can make it. And you truly can see the excitement in your face when you say you talk to Andre Vasilevsky. It's the same when we might get the chance once every 5 years maybe to speak to Andre Vasilevsky, but that would be the same face we have. And it's the same thing. I got to go to morning skate yesterday as an invitee from the Lightning Foundation for Hockey Fights Cancer. And just being there in that building during the morning skate and watching them. That's something to say that you've done, and it was such a great thing to watch. And not many people get to do that all the time. So, just to be a fan and be sitting there watching them just take practice is just amazing to watch.
Yeah, and we got a question here from Kimberly. Kailey, did you have a degree for broadcasting? I'm guessing you must have a broadcasting degree.
Yeah. I went to school for telecommunications, which is basically like a really long word to say TV broadcasting.
Was it from the get-go that you wanted to kind of get into sports broadcasting, or did you?
Yeah.
That was it, huh?
Yeah, I'm kind of a one-track person. I like decide on something and I'm like, this is it. This is what we're doing. So like I said, I at 13 years old, worked a baseball game and was like, this is it. I think I want to do this. And, and then like other things happen where it just like keeps reoccurring. I'd always get in trouble for talking too much whenever I was in school. I would like finish my work and just like start being a chatty Cathy with everybody. And I was like, I get in trouble for talking. Maybe I can do this for a living. Like maybe someone will pay me to talk because that would be pretty cool. And yeah, I think just like along the way wanted to continue to pursue that. But like I said, I'm a one-track person. I only applied to University of Florida. I only, had a broadcasting major. I only ever, you know what I mean? Like whenever I was coming to this job, it was like, this job is it. Like, let's go for it. I'm a one-track mind person and I know what I want and I definitely pursue those things. So that was this. I wanted to be here in Tampa, covering the Lightning, covering the Rays, working for Fox, which is now Bally. I wanted to do that and, did what I needed to do. And here we are.
Do you have that aha moment
Yeah.
every time you walk into Emily or into Tropicana Field? Do you every day be like, wow, this is my work?
There are a lot of pinch me moments, when people are like, what's your office? I'm like, well, have you heard of Emily Arena? That's where I go to work. So yeah, I mean, I think every day is like one of those moments, and so it's like the balance of living your dream, but at the same time, like trying to pursue more and like, what does that look like? So like creating new ideas. And so I'm excited to talk to you guys about, we're going to be launching some really cool digital initiatives over the next few months with Bally that I'm really, really excited to share with the fan base, with the Lightning fans, with the Rays fans, with the Tampa community in general, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to be able to do that I don't think it gets done all that much right now. So I'm really excited to launch those. So this is a little teaser. I can't say exactly what those things are yet, but definitely follow me at Kailey Mizelle, and we're going to send those out pretty soon.
There you go. So follow Kailey. And I have to ask here, I took a screenshot last night. I got some production notes. This is more of a kudos because I loved what they did last night. And they've been doing this on and off. This view, only during power plays, give those guys the thumbs up. I don't know, like I might get the thumbs down in the chat, but like this view on the power play, you can't really do it for like regular back and forth play, but on the power play, when they're in that zone, we need more of that view. We need some more of this view. So they've been doing good. Give them the thumbs up. We want more. And I like when they try different things, right? So no like, puck trackers or anything like that. We talk a lot. We do a lot of overrated, underrated. You're lucky you're not going to get a little dose of that tonight. maybe we get you to come on again. But we talk a lot about like, broadcasting things that are going on. But I noticed that last night and I thought, I really like this view. Like I wish they would do it for every power play, but power play lately, not so much in our zone enough before the last game. So
2 goals in the last 3 games. So, and they have changed their graphic too. Remember they started out with the box in the corner and now they've gone to the lower bar on the bottom and added some stuff, which I think is a lot more sleek and a lot more conducive to the hockey broadcast. But the one thing I did want to follow up is you were talking to Kailey about some of the new things they were doing. Is that part of what you're doing there? Is like Do you
Yeah.
have the ability to kind of like, okay, these are my ideas. These are ways that we can engage more with the fan base. What kind of things you're doing? Like kind of almost like we're talking about even as being a woman in the industry, how you can like be more of a trailblazer, or what you can do to kind of make your presence and your identity be more part of the broadcast.
Yeah. So I think that there's a lot of exciting things that we have the possibility of doing. My focus is digital right now, which I think gives me a lot of freedom, because it's kind of like the wild, wild west, like there's not an exact script. There doesn't have to be, anything that is super specific to it. So what's fun is like during the broadcast, I get to follow along with the fans, and I get to chime in and chat with you guys, at my Twitter handle and at Bally Lightning. Those are the two biggest places that you're going to find me. But then outside of that, I think what I want to do, what I want to bring more of, is talking to the players in ways that you don't necessarily see, or talking to them about things that you don't always see. So at every game, I think we had one at every single game leading up to last Saturday's game. I had a one-on-one interview with all different players, from Ryan McDonough to Steven Stamkos, Victor Hedman, Andre Palat, Alex Killorn, right? Like I had one-on-one interviews, and that I did before the season, and we talked to them about all different things, about like what their best memory from the Cup was, and this is something that's super interesting. Alex Killorn, his interview sticks out in my head here. Is I asked them, like, when you look at the last 3 seasons, how much of the last 2 championship runs have been because you guys were knocked out in the first round against Columbus? And Alex Killorn responded, and I won't forget this quote ever. He said that the sting of losing to Columbus hurt more than the pride and the joy that he had when he won either of the Stanley Cups. And that just shows you, I mean, how much this team hates to lose and how much they're going to do to prevent losing.
Yeah.
And as an athlete, I think that it can be more about that. It can be more about hating to lose than it is about loving to win. Don't get me wrong. They love to win.
That was MJ, 100%.
Exactly, right?
Michael Jordan, that was
like,
his 100% mentality.
You hate to lose so much, and it's that fuels you. And I mean, I think we've seen it. I mean, what team has ever not lost back-to-back games in a playoff run 2 seasons in a row? I mean,
we talked about that a lot on the show, for sure.
And have shutouts to end the
shutouts. And you go from a team that, in that 19 season where they were scoring a lot and allowing a lot of goals. I mean, Bassey was great, but they were still giving up a lot of goals because they were out there running and gunning. And you see a team that just completely changed their identity, changed their mentality, changed the way they approach the game, changed the way they approach each other, the way they approach the city, everything. They changed it all just from the sting of that loss and being completely humiliated around the world.
Well, their names
I mean, that was a global story to hockey, for a team like that. And you've got superstars from Sweden and Russia and where, like everywhere. And for that team to get put out the way they were, it totally makes sense to have Killer say something like that, and then to see the way that mentality has changed.
Well, their names will always be on the cup as 2 times champions.
Yeah.
But even to this day, they still bring up the loss, the sweep from Columbus. Whether it's we're facing Florida with Bobrovsky down there, or we're facing Columbus, they still will bring it up. How we're the President's Trophy, we get swept in the first round. So your name's going to be on that cup. But the stories that are still getting told about you is you getting swept in the first round.
Yeah. And I think it's different
prior
too.
To
like
that.
You mentioned earlier, Kailey, the 15 season, whenever they almost got there, and the
Alex Killorn mentioned that as well. Yeah.
And I mean, that was probably like the beginning of the catalyst, but still, like, you got there and you didn't quite get it done. So it's a different feeling to then go and be like the odds-on favorite, one of the best teams in the history of the season of the game. And then to go get swept by a not that good team and embarrassed. And I mean, kudos to them. I'm not saying anything with, but like that team just had no business winning that series the way they did. And yeah, so that 15 season, I think, was the beginning of it, but to really get
Oh, it was for sure.
beat down in that 19 season, it's going to be hard as long as you still have that core assembly of guys on this team. It's going to be hard to beat these guys in the playoffs. I mean, we lost that third line, and yeah, everyone's crying and bemoaning all that, and those guys were good, but the core of this team, Alex Killorn, Steven Stamkos, was going to be interesting what happens with Palat and the salary cap, but Sorelli now but those guys are still here. Hedman, they know what it was like then. They know it was like in 19, and those are going to be the guys that carry you through rough starts to a season like we saw this year. The stretch was going to happen coming out of the Olympic break. We don't even know. I mean, there's still going to be an All-Star game this year too, right?
Yeah, now
because
so
normally there isn't, right?
And here's some kind
normally
of
there's not an All-Star game during the Olympics year. So
there's also something thrown in the mix now because now Ottawa has had to cancel 3 games because of COVID. And there is a thing in the agreement with the Olympics that now the NHL could cancel the players from going to the Olympics because games have to be rescheduled.
Now this smacks of.
I don't think with only the 3 games being missed right now, that's going to affect the Olympics. But there is a lot more players now coming down with COVID, and this could end up having an impact and could cancel the NHL players from being able to go to the Olympics, sadly. And that's breaking from yesterday. They announced the three canceled games from Ottawa. And then of course it started snowballing from there about, is this a conspiracy and blah, blah, blah. I don't think 3 games is going to cancel the players from the Olympics. The players want to do this. I mean, every report we hear Cooch is trying to get back in enough time to play for Team Russia. Stammer, from what I'm hearing, is on Team Canada's list. They still have to cut it down before they announce the official team. But from what I hear, he's on it. This is his probably last chance to be on this team. So the players are going to fight to stay in the Olympics.
But yeah, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be interesting, but this core is what's going to carry us through, so that's what I like to see, the way, like you said, Alex Killorn having that drive. And it's funny you bring him up and you talk about the digital presence too, and the way you engage with the players, because I think, being the number one influencer on the team is kind of leading the way for that. And what really helped this fan base kind of rally around during COVID and everything else, still be able to be engaged and still have that presence for the boat parade. I wonder what it would be like if they didn't have that engagement through social media and some of the other things that the broadcast team and Killer were doing together. So
these guys have a lot of pride in this city, and that's, like you said, that they're from all over the world, and they're excited to represent their teams in the Olympics, but they love Tampa. They love these fans. I mean, Alex Killorn came out and he was like, said like point blank, I do not want to be traded. I do not want to go play for the Seattle Kraken. I want to stay here in Tampa. I want to finish my career in Tampa. I want to retire in Tampa. I asked him before the season, and he said, I see myself staying in Tampa long term. So I think the things that I like to bring to the fans are, those things, the interesting things, the things that you don't necessarily hear every single day, the things that maybe you want to know, but you don't have the opportunity to ask, and just like little quirks. So, it's like little things like Brian Elliott juggles every single, game before the game. And I was asking him like, hey, why do you juggle? Because again, I'm right there. I see them playing soccer. I see them throwing the football. I see him juggling. And he's like, it really helps with my eyes. Juggling really helps with my eyes. And I'm like, that's awesome. So it's like little things like that I get to share with fans that don't get to be in my position, that don't get to see the things that I see. And so the fact that I'm able to share those things with you guys, it's, for me, again, it's like another pinch me moment. Like, this is my job. This is something that I'm really excited to do. I'm excited to share these things with you. and have fun with it. Like these are real people. They like to have fun. They like to laugh. They're super competitors. We're going to have some series rolling out later where I play games with all these guys and have them do different things. And I remember Anthony Sorelli, when he got done with the game, he was like, how did I do? Who did I beat? Did I beat Joseph? And I was like, you beat Joseph. And he was like, that's all I care about. I just wanted to beat Joseph. You know what I mean? They're super competitors, even in like silly games. They just want to have fun, go out, compete. They're fun guys. And I mean, think about it. A lot of these are also really young guys.
Yeah.
You think about like
now it's turned to it's
Yeah.
turned to the younger.
I mean, you
guys
have like some
now.
of the older guys, right? You have
Yeah.
like, Killer and Stammer and Hedman and, those guys. But like, think about this. Andre Vasilevsky is closer in age to Ross Colton than he is to Alex Killorn, right? Like Andre Vasilevsky is young.
Sergachev.
He doesn't seem like he's that young, but he's a young guy. Sergey's young. Cernak is young. Sorelli, Joe, Ross Colton, and that whole crew. That I mean, all the rookies, right? Like they're fun guys. They're so fun, and they come out. They like to have fun, and that's what I want to show the fans. These guys. They're tough competitors. They're going to get out there and they're going to, like Sorelli did last night, they're going to like pull some punches right when they need to. They're going to go out there and they're going to like show some people what's up. But at the same time, they're going to go back and they're going to laugh and they're going to have fun with their teammates because that's the kind of people that they are.
A couple years ago, we used to have the Lightning Foundation do this thing called Game Night. And we had it at Tampa Theater. And it was the players played against each other, 2 teams against each other. And they did almost like a Family Feud thing. And then they did one-on-one games. And they are super competitive. Then they went out on the plaza. They had it closed or off around there. And fans got to go play individual games with them. But you would see the players like try to mess up the player behind them and, try to push this one. Or I threw mine further than you did. So they're very competitive. And right before you signed on today, we were talking about how this team looks like a little different than it did at the beginning of the season. And we said it looks like they are having fun again. Where at the beginning of the season, they seemed tired. They seemed like they had the back-to-back hangover. And now it seems like they are back to having fun. And with those younger guys, especially a lot of them playing on the crunch together for years.
Yeah.
It seems that they brought their routines there. They brought their sense of humor, their fun that they have there. Do you see that too now? Do you see where the hangover kind of was at the beginning of the season? They're losing the third line and still trying to figure out their identity. And now it seems like they've found their identity. They, the Radishes, the Kachuks, they feel like they belong on this team now. And they feel like they're here to stay. Even though once Kuch comes back, somebody's going to have to sit. When a Jamel Smith comes back, one of them might have to sit. So it's still that they feel like they belong on this team. I think a good thing was Matty Joe yesterday. I think he has really stepped up this season.
Yes,
and said to Coop, "You're going to keep me on this team. You're going to keep me all season. The one year you guys did keep me in the crunch all year, that was just a fluke. Ever since then, he's made it better and better every year. And it just seems like they're having fun and they believe in themselves now. Do you see that in your side of things?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know how much. I mean, everybody can like point fingers or guess what was happening. Maybe it was a hangover. I think that it was probably harder on them than maybe what we realized to lose Kuch in the same way that they did before, right? Like, you get this incredible player back and you're like so excited for him. You're so excited to have him back. And then like some fluke accident happens and you lose him again. And like, I think that like it's one of those things where it's like, do I think that they're like anxious about it? No, but like, is there some like mental something there where it's like, dang, this happens like back-to-back years, like one of our best players, like we finally had like the power play like figured out. He creates so much space. I mean, he's the quarterback on the power play. Like he's so good. He helps manage that so well. And so then it's like back to the drawing board, got to figure it out again. So I don't know if you want to call it Stanley Cup hangover. Maybe a little bit of it was that it have a very short summer. But I think that probably stung more than what we realized. You losing Cooch and then just kind of having to like figure out what that means to be without him now, especially in special teams, because a lot of those losses that we saw, or a lot of those like moments where we're like, that like what the heck happened in this game? A lot of it came down to special teams. And like you said, you lose 3 guys. And some of those guys, 2 of those guys, crucial to the penalty kill. And again, to your point, Matthew Joseph has stepped up incredibly on that penalty kill. And I think he's doing an amazing job. But at the same time, like Barclay Goodrow and Blake Coleman were bosses out there in that penalty kill. They were incredible. And you lose those 2 guys and you're kind of figuring it out. But I think all of the guys have to have that Matthew Joseph mentality, right? Like 2 years ago, he had a lot of hype. They thought, okay, this is going to be his year. He's doing awesome. And then that was my first year covering the team. And I remember it was around this time, I want to say, that he got sent back to the crunch. And that did not feel good for him. Yeah. And I think he made it in his mind, this is not going to happen to me again. Right. This isn't going to happen to me again. The next time I get my chance, I'm going to make sure that I'm ready. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to show them what I can do. And I think that he's done that. But I think you look at some other guys, you look at Ross Colton. I think he's done that. I think Ross Colton has gone out there with an attitude that like, I'm here, I'm going to stay here. And you're not even going to think about sending me back down because that's the way that I'm going to play. How
Sergachev made this team. When he came to this team, he told his teammates at Windsor, I will not be back in Windsor. I am going to make this Lightning team. And ever since then, he's been a staple here for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, it's part of the culture here. There's guys you up and down this lineup to have that same mentality that we're kind of on the cusp, and here there were they 7th round draft picks, 4th round draft picks, trades, waiver wire pickups that got a taste of what it's like to play hockey here in Tampa Bay, and then maybe didn't quite know what it, and then got back, and then they're like, oh, if I get back, I'm never leaving again because this is it. This is the place to play. You know, you were talking about earlier how kind of laid back and engaged these players are here, and I'm seeing it's bleeding over. You mentioned about Tom Brady coming here and how I think the Lightning effect is being infectious to all the teams here, even the Rays and the Bucks, and how they're approaching the fan base and how they're way more laid back, and they're not the same teams that I've been watching 20 years living in the Bay Area after what the Lightning have done the last few years. They've created a whole new culture for the sports attitude here in the Tampa Bay region.
You expect to win. That's the thing. I think for a long time, Tampa Bay was like, okay, we're going to be the butt of the jokes. We're going to be, you know what I mean?
I'm going to play here and I'll retire here. I'm going to, and I'll come back and retire here. But,
exactly.
It's a job, and then hopefully it's an audition to go somewhere else and really get paid, and maybe I'll come back and buy a house when it's all said and done. Now people come here to win.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely right. The cultures have completely changed on all the teams here, which is amazing. And you're right about that stash. And you mentioned this earlier, Kailey. The players are coming here to play hockey, even for a couple seasons, and then they're retiring here and living here. And Braden Coburn, perfect example of that. Retires this week.
We didn't bring it up.
Article out there about how he's going to live here and he's raising his kids here. That's kind of helped us get Bogo back this season. His kids loved it here.
Yep.
But hey,
broadcast,
Kaylee's going to run. I'm going to put her on the spot. Hey, just so you know, in case you need ideas, what we do here is we play a lot of shooter games. We come up with some games here. We just played one before you came on. I'm going to let you pick your favorite. There's no pressure on this. We don't win anything here. It's just.
Did you take the names off of them so she could just see them with no names?
It has to be a blind judge. I totally agree.
You want it blind? All right. I'll make it blind. I got to do. These guys make it really hard for me. I'm sitting here photoshopping while we're live on the show,
Yeah, what
And-
am I judging? That's what I want to
Living
know.
room.
It's what
Or-
we believe we want the stadium jerseys to look like.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you have any insider information first?
Oh, can't say either way.
Oh, she does. She does.
Ooh.
Haley.
All right.
Ooh.
Message me later. we need some info. All right. So here's what we did. We had Photoshop up here, and we basically started to create our own versions of the jerseys. But let me pull up my screenshots here. I'm not going to take our names off. It's not going to be blind.
Ridiculous.
We're just going to pull up here the shooter edition.
Boring.
I'll let you see. This way we get to make our pitch.
Okay.
All right. This is like
60
Shark Tank
second
with
pitch.
Kailey.
Average.
All right.
Boring.
I'm going to time you guys. You got
with
60
Zelly.
seconds. I'm going to pull my phone up. Ready? I'm going to
Uh-oh.
put you guys on the spot.
Oh, here
60
we go.
seconds, shooter, go.
All right. So the shooter edition is basically the reverse retro jersey, but reversed. The white jersey with the blue, and you got the black sleeves. And what I did was I took the secondary logo, which has not been used on the crest yet. Bam! That's your stadium sweater right there. Stadium series. Pretty good
Okay.
pitch, right?
That's a pretty
All
good
right.
pitch.
What else we got? We've got Thomas Schooley edition. I'll let you pitch it.
All right. So mine is the retro reversed. The bolts is supposed to be blue to pay homage to our old third jerseys when we had the black Reeboks that had the bolts across. Of course, white because we're going to be the away team, and then just the colors of the Lightning because we're going to be cheering a lot of "Let's Go Bolts" come February 26th.
Okay.
And then finally, the stash. I'll pitch his. He just made his own sweater that he has on right now, basically. In white.
First and foremost, I did not, because this is a blue sweater with the white shoulders. That's a white sweater with blue shoulders. So this is the reverse throwback champion Stamkos sweater. But the only thing is, shooter couldn't make the neck a different color. I would think it would be a black color. But this is basically the regular away jersey, but the white stripes, because it's kind of a throwback with the regular bolts crest, because I think that the patch or the crest that shooter's using is going to be on the shoulders with the big old numbers on the side. And to me, this looks like a really cool old school, old timey hockey sweater.
So
it is. Sweater.
2 questions, and then we will let you go. Are any of us even close?
I plead the fifth.
Yes. I'm so close.
All right. Now, do you have a favorite?
Okay, here's what I'll say. If I'm wearing a jersey, just a jersey, I like shooter's jersey. But here's with like the caveat. If I'm wearing a hoodie, stash, I would like hand you my money and buy that hoodie today. That looks like a freaking awesome hoodie. Yeah, and then I like the bolts. I mean, I like that it says bolts, and you have a good point. It's gonna say "Let's Go Bolts." But if I have to pick, I'm gonna go shooter for the jersey, stash for like the merch, right? Like that would just make some cool, just all out merchandise.
Oh, it's fun having you. Time to go, Kailey. Have a good night.
It's a good thing Schooley's name isn't in the show.
I'm
So,
pretty sure that you
I
can
think she knows how
buy
to butter her
the
bread.
Stashes version at the team store today if you want to. But Kailey Mizelle, thank you for coming on so much. It's been
Thanks,
awesome to have
guys.
you.
Thank
We
you.
hope you come back. What's your socials one more time so everyone can go make sure they follow you?
Yeah, it's at Kailey Mizelle. So it's just my name right there, KAILEY MIZELLE. And then you can find me at Bally Lightning on game days.
You should be a rapper, because that just flows off the tongue. I'm telling you.
All right. Thank you once again, Zelly, for coming on the show. We hope you come back later in the season and give us some more scoops. But that was your We the Thunder debut. We'll see you hopefully after the new year.
Thanks, guys, and go Bolts.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Go
Bolts.
Bolts.
All right. That was Zelly. I told you guys I know how to put together a sweater.
Wow.
And I think she
I didn't
probably
realize
put
we
on-
paid people for appearances now.
I'm all about the
think-
dollar bills here. Okay, you might listen. Mine would sell more. Mine
I
would sell way
think
more.
she picked mine because that's it. That's it, boys. I just designed the Stadium Series sweater right here on the show.
I don't know.
I also
I think
predicted Corey Perry becoming a Bolt. I also predicted us winning the Stanley Cup. when we went to the
I
playoffs.
also predicted that this team wouldn't really start feeling its groove until Thanksgiving. And you boys better check your calendars because it's only a week away. And we just saw the best game the Lightning have played all season last night. So on that note, what else do we have to talk about?
We'll be back next week.
That's what I'm thinking.
You guys really have anything else with?
No, what's the upcoming games tomorrow? I know tomorrow at 1 o'clock
we got Philly.
Well,
Philly
here
on Thursday.
I got the schedule pulled up here. I'm trying to go on Tuesday, Stash. If you want to go Tuesday the 23rd
to the Philly game,
trying to get to that Philly game. But
I can make that happen.
No, so listen, aren't you guys forbidden to go to a game together?
Stop it. We have to break the curse eventually, man. Come on.
we'll go to 32 games. One of them we're going to win.
Hey.
I think we got to break the curse.
The funny thing is that it wasn't until we started doing the show again that kind of streak happened. Like, we've gone to countless games together and seen multiple victories, amazing games together, playoff winning games together, Stanley Cup winning games together. But yeah, it's only since we restarted the show that we haven't actually been in the barn together for a victory. So
and
eventually we have to make that different. That has to change eventually.
2 weeks from tonight, I'll be doing the show from Enterprise Center.
You're going to be doing it on location from St. Louis, huh?
Yeah. Couldn't pass it up. Was given a free ticket down on the 100s.
There you go.
So couldn't pass it up. $172 air flight round trip.
That's dope, dude. Listen, go find some barbecue, eat some barbecue, go to the game, and then get get right back on the airplane. That's it. There's nothing. Maybe the Gateway Arch. That's it. There's nothing else.
Yeah, I fly in at 8:45 the night before the game. Yeah. I fly out at 6:30 the next morning after the game. So literally there for less than 36 hours.
Boom.
And we're staying downtown near the Arch. So I'm going to go to the Arch.
Go to the Arch. Go to the Arch. Go get some barbecue for lunch.
And I got told what barbecue place to go to.
Yep, perfect. Get the fuck out. That's all.
Pappy's.
There's nothing else.
Pappy's is apparently the best barbecue around. So we're going to Pappy's.
That's one of them.
So, well, here's what we got, guys. We got to go up to Philly, and then we're back
Philly
home
on Thursday
for several games. So we've got the Devils, we've got the Wild. The Wild have been playing pretty good. That's that Sunday early game, I guess.
Aaron? Well, both of them, Saturday and Sunday, are both early games.
Early afternoon games, matinees, if you will. We got a matinee back to back, which is good because for me on the 20th, I'll be watching the brand new amazing series that's debuting on Amazon Prime, Wheel of Time. So that's good that I'll be able to watch the game during the afternoon. So
Sunday is Hockey Fights Cancer game.
There he is.
This Sunday.
Nice.
There you go. So a bunch of Wild games coming up, and then we got the Flyers game. So we actually have this is we're gonna have to do some double duty next Tuesday.
We'll be remiss though. We'll be remiss if we don't mention, even though we'll have another show between now and then, we would be remiss if we don't mention every Lightning fan's checkmark game.
Black Friday.
26 Black Friday. The return
of Yanni Gourde.
I'm also trying to go to that one. But yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 games. We'll be back Tuesday, November 23rd, in a week from today. After that Flyers game, maybe on site, all of us. We'll see. But I don't know. These are some teams we can beat. I know the Flyers are playing well. I know the Wild are playing well, but I feel like we're in a different class than these teams.
You know, we didn't really talk about it a lot because we had a great guest, and it's really been pretty good hockey. But we had really three big games, 3 really good performances, great results, even though that Carolina game was a loss. Even that Toronto game, going on even back to the beginning of the month, all the way back to the Capitals. We talked about an 8-game point streak. The month of November, this team has been playing much better hockey.
And we just took 5 out of 6 against the playoff teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And teams in our division. And so these are big games. And now we're coming against some teams that I feel like we could really use as even better tune-up games. Like, okay, we just went through the gauntlet, if you will. And now, okay, let's take those things that were good and let's now build on them and figure out how to even attack and use these next 5 games as a way to really hone in. So that way we're coming out of the Thanksgiving break ready to go, or going into the month of December, really. Because even if you go the rest of this month, we go back to Minnesota and St. Louis, and you're going to be there at the end of the month. So those are 7 games that we easily could come out here with 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points. We could easily go undefeated on that 7-game streak there. So,
and Carter Hart no longer for Philly is the Jesus that they thought he was, the second coming. Right. He's actually looks like a little bit of Swiss cheese lately, and is beatable now that I always say with those first year, like Spencer Knight, the first half of a season, when there ain't enough video footage of them. Now there's plenty of footage on Hart, and teams have looked into it and are getting success about him. That now Martin Jones has played a total of 4 games already. So their goalie situation is not that great up there. So it's a good thing we have them coming up Thursday on a time when they're not in 2 times within a week. So those could be 2 good games for us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Philly because I remember them making some pretty solid moves in the offseason with getting they got Yossi, I think, right? From
Ristolainen. They got
they made some solid moves in the offseason. So looking forward to seeing them hopefully in person. And
it's going to be interesting too, because we see Philly and Minnesota twice each in the next 2 weeks. So it's one of those things where we're that team, like we were talking about before. Everyone hates us. Everyone likes to give us their best shot. So playing the same team twice in the matter of 7 to 10 days, especially coming off of that game last night with the Islanders and how physical that was. I see this Lightning team continuing this trend. I see them continuing to stick up for each other. There's going to be a little bit more fighting, I think, this year that we've seen maybe ever in the history of this franchise. We're going to see a lot more physicality throughout the regular season because they're going to have to be in that playoff mentality all season long just to make it there, because they're going to be playing everybody's A game times 10 now because they're back-to-back champs, right?
Yeah. Well, after last night, after we were beating up on Chara, I think most of these teams are going to be scared of us. Like,
stop it. Stop it. I love Patty. I love Big Rig, but nobody beat up on Chara.
Hey,
catch up. First of all, I don't think he's getting enough credit for the double takedown. Not only was it a classic double leg takedown, like that dude is definitely a wrestler at some point in his life, but he got the zebra too. Everyone's missing the fact that not only did he take down Big Z, he took out the zebra at the same time. A double takedown from the Rook.
There's a debate on Thunderbolts today whether or not he's wrestled in high school,
definitely.
college.
I'm telling you right now, as someone that wrestled at a state championship program, that was definitely a double leg that you learn from freaking wrestling. That guy has wrestling in his background somewhere.
Some big pickups that Philly had was Yandel. They did get Ellis, Atkinson, and then Ristolainen.
Yeah, Ristolainen too. So, yeah, I mean, they're definitely not going to be a lay down compared to maybe and Minnesota's playing really well too. And I'm not trying to say anything bad about these teams. They're always competitive, but I definitely see the Lightning. If they don't come away with 10 points out of these next 7 games, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. When, we've seen the power play start to emerge a little bit. And I think
dropping the hammer.
That's going to be key. Yeah. Stammer's still racking up the power play goals. So that was where it went bad for the Islanders last night, was when they started taking penalties. Like, you can't, even if our power play has not been that great this season, you can't do that. You can't let these guys get that many chances. And the other thing that I was thinking about last game, I mentioned this last week, was the Toronto game where we blew the third period lead and we had plenty of chances to score in that third period, but we couldn't, and that changed the game. We ended up losing. You can say the same thing about last Tuesday. We were on here after an overtime loss to Carolina. Had the chance to put them away, even though we probably didn't deserve to win that game.
Yeah.
The Panthers game, we ended up pulling it out in overtime. Thank you, Braden Point. Braden Point, by the way, has stepped up his game again.
Mr. Clutch.
So there he goes. And then
there
yesterday it was like third period. It's
That's
2-1. What's going to happen? Are
They
these
finally
guys going to step up and put this game away?
Yep.
They did it this time. So
Yep.
I like what I'm seeing out of the boys, and I'm looking
Oh, yeah.
forward to getting 4 games in the next 7 days.
Yeah, I'm excited. Finally, after having 3 games in the last year, it seems like, right? We finally get a good healthy dose of Lightning hockey going in to one of the most wonderful times of the year, Thanksgiving season. The time to be wonderfully thankful and grateful for everything we have, including our great hockey team and our owner and our franchise, and my fellow co-hosts on this show. So, and all the fans always that tune in as well. So it's good.
Lynn says it best.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
well-
think that should be our game next Tuesday. Is what are we thankful for? Coming in thankful.
I like it.
All right.
Thanksgiving edition.
We got a game next week. No Photoshop required. All right. Anything else you guys got? Because I need to get a snack and I need to get to bed.
Something we touched on just a little bit, but
Whoa.
good
calm
luck
down.
to Braden Coburn on his retirement. He was definitely a fan favorite here.
I love Kobe.
He made some great memories here in Tampa and finally got one Stanley Cup here
part
with
of that
us.
cup.
So
Big part.
it's nice to see him. And then Dion Phaneuf announced his retirement. So
2 goals from the big rig. Just want to say that.
I had enough of Phaneuf anyway.
Enough.
Yeah.
Well-
Here's if anyone hasn't seen Thomas Schooley's ridiculous Reese's peanut butter cups with
I'm
potato
good.
chips in them. I mean, I'm not trying to knock you, buddy. I'm going to try them probably when I see him. But this
Listen,
looks awful. This looks
No, it is
absolutely
delicious.
awful.
I need it in my life.
It flipped.
You're not.
I
You're
know.
in portrait mode. You're not in landscape mode.
Oh man, good thing you're not controlling the games.
Look at that.
We thought Shooter's Tech was bad. We
That
thought
is
So
he-
just
there-
delicious.
There's little pieces of
Stop.
Potato chip in there.
inside of there.
It is
Okay.
delicious.
That's,
They're just catching up with the shit I've been eating my entire life. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, boys. It's been real. It's been fun. Way to go, Bolts. Great game last night. Looking
Thank
forward
you,
to the next
Kailey.
week. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kailey.
Awesome
Thank you, Ben.
guest, Kailey Mizelle. Check her out on Bally
Kimberly,
Sports.
Lynn.
We'll get her back
All the
here.
ladies in the chat showing up for our amazing gym. All of our great guests. We have great guests on the show. They're the best. You can't beat
I'm
them.
telling
We
you.
get the best. We get the best guests. We're the best.
We have
No one as good as us.
huge guests
I
coming
know we
up.
do. We get huge guests. They're local. They're big deal. They go away. They learn all their crafts. They come back here. They bring it to our show. They make our show better because that's what they are. They're good. They're better. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do when there's not a game. So if you guys have any guest requests, just hit us up. Let us know who you want to see because we're trying to find some new ones. Running out of. I'd love to get Engblom on. I'm going to let's see if we can get
Or
that guy on.
Honestly, PK. If anybody can get PK, Paul Kennedy.
Yeah, we'll see.
Michigan. I'd love to have Michigan on.
Michigan, all of them. Yeah, there's plenty of guests out there and we got a long season, so hopefully you'll see some of them in this box directly below me.
Below him.
And we'll
Which
move
way?
Schooley to the side that way.
Put Schooley in the
Anyway,
corner.
this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the
Be the
Thunder.
Thunder.